Welcome to the Parenting Puzzle Podcast with Dr. Daniela Owen, the podcast where we attempt to solve the parenting puzzle together.
Welcome in, everybody. We got another edition of the Parenting Puzzle Podcast with Dr. Daniela Owen. We're super excited about this one. We've got another great topic we're going to talk about today. And Dr. D, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm well, Jake. Thank you for asking. How's everyone feeling over in your household?
I'm recovering pretty well, but I think I gave my sickness to like the whole family. So now we're like a cold and sinus ward over here. So I'm kind of like Dr. Jake right now.
Oh, okay, Dr. Jake, how you doing?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well though. It's over here in Louisiana. I think Sam knows this. Like the weather changes more than the time of the day. So like right now it's like 50 degrees and cold and rainy, and like Saturday it was 80 degrees. So it's just it doesn't make any sense. But I am super excited about our episode today. I think it's going to be a great one. Our podcast is all about helping parents like me, like Dr. D, and our awesome guest today, Samantha, work through this thing called parenting in just a little bit better way. Like we started this podcast because we know that parenting is like super hard. That's kind of like our catchphrase, Sam. Parenting is really, really hard, full stop. We don't need any other verbal fillers with that just because it's really hard and there's no instruction manual. There's no like, hey, if you're in this situation facing this task or this issue with your family, that this is the solution. And this is the thing that you could do to make it all better, because every family is a little bit different. And that's one thing that we've learned, or I've learned going through this thing with Dr. D, as we've had guests on and experts on and other people, is that not every solution works for every family and every family is different. So without any further ado, Sam, thank you so much for being brave enough to jump on this podcast. And we love that you're on with us today, and we love your question. We think it's going to relate to a lot of different people. So if you don't mind, why don't you just jump in for a minute or two? Let us know kind of who you are and a little bit about your family.
Cool. Thanks for inviting me. So I am actually an author and publisher, and I'm learning how to navigate doing that from home with a one-bedroom apartment, a husband working from home, and an almost 3-year-old girl who rules the apartment. So it's been really fun, but we actually have been married for about 5 years, and we moved from Orlando all the way to the Midwest. Now we're back on the Gulf Coast. And more recently, my husband and I have both been recovering and healing, working through different traumas that we've both experienced in the past. And so the challenge that I'm facing is, obviously we want to be the best parents we can be. Like, we want to show our daughter what it is to be healthy, to not project our hurts onto other people. We want to break the cycle of hurt people hurting people. But we're human. We're not perfect. And so there are definitely times where we're triggered. Rather, it's something that she triggers me with, or maybe we're just triggered like separately, but she's in the house, mama this, mama that. And it's hard not to project onto her. Rather, it's lashing out, getting overstimulated. So like, help. What is the solution?
I love this question, Samantha, and I really appreciate you bringing this up. A lot of families are coping with this, and it's a really important topic. I also love what you said, that you want to break the cycle of hurt people hurting people, and that level of insight and compassion is amazing. So kudos to you for having that and having that be your goal. So it's hard. This is a hard one. There usually aren't simple answers, but for this one in particular, the most important thing I think I can say in response to your question is it is so important for parents to be able to parent whenever possible, however possible, from as grounded a place as possible. So it is so hard to parent. As Jake said, parenting is hard, full stop. Parenting when you're triggered, that much harder, right? And so the first step is to always put on your parenting oxygen mask first. You know, when you get on the airplane and they say, put on your oxygen mask before helping others. And I think some parents are like, well, if the oxygen mask drop, I'm putting it on my kid first. But it's really good advice, both on the airplane, of course, but also in parenting, because if we're parenting from a place where we're feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, barely able to breathe ourselves, our chance of being able to cope well with our kids goes down. So putting on that oxygen mask and making sure you're breathing freely allows you to stay as calm as possible and then take care of your child as best as you can. So what does this look like? So when you're in a triggered place, being able to use a tag team system with your partner to the extent possible. I know you said you're both working from home, so I know there are moments where you're working and that might not be possible, but having a system with something as simple as a code word for when you're interacting with your child and you're feeling yourself escalate, being able to kind of just call out that code word and make it something kind of silly and random, like, you know, blueberry cheesecake or something that you wouldn't normally say.
Platypus.
Yeah, platypus. And then hopefully your partner, if they're able to come to your rescue and do this kind of tag-in system where they can just gently come, you know, either tap you on the shoulder or just show up next to you, and then you can sort of exit and they can take over. Or you can give a few words of what's going on. Okay, here's what's just happened. I can't handle this. Can you please take over? And then just being able to be there to support each other, because if you're not both in a place where you're triggered, then the non-triggered parent is in a much better space to be doing some of the heavy lifting in that moment. Is this making sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that kind of tag system can be really, really valuable and really useful for parents. If you are solo or unable to tag team with a partner for parenting in that moment, I really want to encourage you to just give yourself a short period for self-focus and grounding. So this can be everything from, if you're standing, just noticing the four corners of your feet and pressing them into the floor a few times each, just to kind of notice yourself connected with the earth and getting back into your present body. Taking a few deep breaths along with that will also help you just be present in your physical body, and that can help with the parenting piece. Obviously, if your child is in danger, then, you know, hanging from something or whatever, and you have to get her down, rescue her, that comes first because there's obviously a threat there.
Right.
But most parenting moments feel more threatening than they actually are, right? They're distressing and uncomfortable for us as parents.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of parenting moments, again, unless there's an actual physical danger present, most parenting moments do actually afford us 10, 15, even 30 seconds to just bring ourselves down before we respond. And this is huge because this can really stop us from yelling at our kids or getting really hot quickly, which we don't want to do. So if we can go from a place that's calmer, we get to feel better. Our kids get the better response from us, which makes them more likely to be receptive to that response. But we're human, and it doesn't always work that way. So the other piece I want to encourage you on is grace, giving yourself some compassion. And if you lost it with your child, had an unpleasant parenting interaction, soothe yourself rather than berate yourself. Berating ourselves makes our minds close down. It activates our fear and threat system. We cannot parent well from that place. So soothing ourselves, ooh, ouch, yuck, that did not feel good. Okay, that is not how I want to parent. I was feeling hurt and then I reacted in a way that I didn't like. Okay, that's okay. I can recover from this. Go back to your child. Hey, sorry for yelling, or sorry for using that language. Let's try that again. I know it sounds funny, but there are also very few things that you can't do a do-over in parenting. And kids feel this, right? We are human. We are not perfect. And so when we are able to be imperfect, make mistakes, accept those in front of our kids, and then do a do-over and ask for forgiveness. Sorry, you know, I apologize for yelling. They say, that's okay, Mama. You say, thank you for forgiving me. Let's try that again. No, you cannot, right? Like, so
Right.
being able to come back and do a do-over, kids will appreciate it. They will understand it. And you're modeling not being perfect, making a mistake, and then not getting caught in a shame cycle that prevents
Right.
you from coming back and apologizing, but actually being able to come back, say sorry, have a moment of forgiveness and connection, and then move on from there. And so it sets you up for that. So the bottom line is you don't need to be perfect. Recognizing when you're feeling triggered as much as you can. If you can get a tag in, start there. If you can't, try to ground yourself. Even 10 seconds of noticing your body in space, or if you're seated, notice your shoulders on the chair, your back on the chair, your buttocks on the chair. If there's an armchair, your arms on the chair, just noticing your body. Get connected with the earth. Take a couple breaths. Respond from there. You're in a better spot. If it doesn't work out, you fly off the handle, that's okay. Calm yourself down, come back, apologize, do a do-over. All three of those are the way to be able to help when you're feeling triggered to get to a place where you can parent in a way that you feel good about and confident in.
Dr. D, I like that point about the reconciliation, because I think that's so important. Like, because there's no perfect people or perfect parents, right? So, like, there probably won't be many days that go by where we don't make some kind of error. Then we're like, man, that probably wasn't my best moment as a parent or a person. So, like, being able to have that opportunity, like, to think through that and say, hey, like, showing, like, as a parent, going to your child, son or daughter, whoever it is, this is for anybody, and saying, hey, look, I'm not perfect. I made a mistake, and seeking their forgiveness. I think that's really powerful. Like, to be able to model that for our kids, because eventually they're going to, like, we're growing these little people into adults. Like, and we want them to be able to be humble enough when they're 30 or whatever age they get to say, hey, I made a mistake here. I'm sorry. Right. And if we could start showing them that early, like, obviously we don't want to make mistakes. I mean, we feel bad for that, but giving ourselves grace and, like, seeking that forgiveness from our children, modeling that for them, I think that point's amazing. Like, I've never thought about that before. So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I'd say the grace thing for me, because like our girl, she's so sweet. And one thing I've learned is children have a lot more grace and resiliency than like adults do. So I've gone to her and like, hey, mommy shouldn't have yelled at you. Like, I'm really sorry. And she'll say, I forgive you. And then she'll go around the house. And like, if she does something, she's like, I'm sorry. And so like seeing her like emulate that like makes my little mama heart so proud. But it's that shame cycle for me that even if she's saying she forgives me, it's like I know that I just messed up. And so I think the grace is a big thing. And just remembering like she's already forgiven me. So like why am I staying stuck in this place? And then at the end of the day, I'll ask like, what made you happy today? What made you sad today? And never once is it you made me mad. Like it's you made me happy today. It's like we hold it to ourselves when nobody else is.
That's a really, really good point. And I also want to point out that it feels good when we have an unpleasant interaction to be able to forgive someone. That also feels good for us as humans. So that feels good for her. You're demonstrating respect. You are worthy of an apology. And when she's able to give her forgiveness, she gets to practice the heavy lifting of forgiveness. Such a valuable characteristic, tool, quality to develop within ourselves is being able to forgive, because when we hold on to hurts, it just eats us up and makes us feel terrible. So her practicing having an unpleasant interaction, you copping to it and owning it and apologizing out of a place of respect and love, her feeling respected and loved and being able to forgive you and let that moment go and then move on with you to a better moment. And the more you can let that moment go too, remember, there's so much modeling that's happening as parents. Like when we stop and think about it, it can be a little scary. So don't scare yourself. But there's so much modeling. And for the good stuff, they're seeing it all, right? So if you can say, thank you for forgiving me. I'm so glad we were able to, move on from that. That is so good for her to be experiencing too. So kind of take a page out of her book of letting it go and feeling better,
Yeah.
and give yourself the opportunity to do that too. I think it will also help you with your own healing.
Sweet.
Wonderful question, Samantha. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Dr. D, I think you might agree with this. Like we've heard like a lot of the parents that come on here, so you're not alone, Sam, like talking about like being hard on themselves, like
Mhm.
or thinking they're failing as parents. Maybe it's something to do with like how they put kids to bed or how they do food or how they do like all these different things, right? And as parents, I just think it's really important for us to it's sometimes it's harder, the hardest people to give grace to is ourselves, right? Like as humans, it's
Yeah.
easy for us to give grace to everybody else. But it's really hard when we make a mistake not to like beat ourselves up about it. So yeah, and I had an idea for your phrase. You could just say the parenting puzzle with Dr. D. It's kind of long, but I think we can make that work for your like secret code message to your husband when you need some help, right?
I like platypus better.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of long, but I think it could work. I mean, right? Perfect. Perfect. All right. So, Dr. D, you almost ready for my favorite segment? All right. Let me share my screen. I think I'm getting better at this as we go. So I wanted to give a shout out to our amazing sponsor, Louisiana Flag Football. Can y'all see this on the screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. So super shout out to our sponsor for the last word with Dr. D, Louisiana Flag Football. As parents, I think we're always looking for things for our kids to get off the couch and be more active. So if you're looking for a way to make your kids active, get them in a competitive and fun environment, ages 6 to 12, Louisiana Flag Football is the premier flag football league in South Louisiana, where kids have the ability to learn, grow, make friendships, be in a competitive yet safe environment. So if you're looking to learn more about this awesome organization, me and Isaac both participate in it. I'm as a coach and Isaac as a player. Yeah, check out this website, and we thank them so much for working with us on the Parenting Puzzle podcast. Without any further ado, Dr. D, let me play this thingamajiggy. Boom.
So when you're in those moments and you are triggered, what can you do to help yourself? The first thing you can do if you are in a situation kind of like yours, Samantha, where there's a co-parent in the home with you, when possible, I would encourage you to use a tag team system. We can only take so much. And so if our partner is available to take over, having kind of a funny code word that you wouldn't normally say to be able to kind of shout out and have your partner come in and take over for you is a great, great thing if you can do that. And so being able to plan ahead with your partner, give them a couple of words of what's going on, and then let them take over when they're in a calm state can help protect you from parenting from a place of high agitation, distress, or being activated by trauma. If that's not possible, you're parenting solo or the other parent is not available, being able to take a few seconds yourself to bring yourself down and ground yourself. So connect your feet to the ground, take a few deep breaths. Unless your child is actually physically in danger in that moment or doing something unsafe, you do have a few seconds to just bring yourself down. That gives you a better chance to parent from a place that you feel more confident from and to help yourself stay calmer so that you can both move through the interaction more quickly. And if this doesn't happen and you lose your temper, get upset with your child, yell, say something that you don't mean, being able to take the time to soothe yourself, come back and apologize to your child, and then do a parenting redo is my best recommendation. So giving yourself the opportunity to have grace and self-compassion, and then model for your child that it's okay to make a mistake and you can say sorry, even parents can say sorry. It demonstrates love and respect to your child, and then they can have the opportunity to forgive you, and all of you can move together to a better spot. So I hope that helps.
That's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, Sam, Dr. D, I thought you summed that up really well. And Sam, thank you so much again for jumping on this podcast. Our whole goal behind this podcast is helping parents like me and you with these issues that we're having. And I have a great feeling that you're not the only one struggling with this. But the number one takeaway for me is like, give ourselves a little bit of grace. Like we're not perfect. Like we're not expected as parents to be perfect. Right. So I love that sentiment. And one thing Dr. D and I talked about was giving away a book for people that came on the podcast. So Sam, just let us know your address and we'll send you, Dr. D will send you a book. And Dr. D, I'll let you pick whatever book you think is best. She's got some amazing ones. So drop us your address in the chat and we'll in our group chat and we'll send you over a book. So real quick, as we wrap this thing up, great episode. But if you love this episode, go check out our podcast, the Parenting Puzzle Podcast with Dr. D. We're everywhere, right? We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, all these places. So the best way that we can help this podcast is to try to grow it. So if you like the podcast, please share it. Please subscribe on Dr. D's YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, on Spotify. We really love doing this podcast and getting information out into the world to help parents, because we know parenting is really, really hard. So thank you guys. Great episode today, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review. It really helps us out and lets others discover the show.